go. Okay, so placing my hands on my heart, taking that deep cleansing breath of love and gratitude, just allowing everything that came before this moment to fall away, to allow ourselves to be in this moment, in this here and now, to let go of anything that may be coming after this moment. We're grateful just to be here with and for each other, with the intention of living the teachings of Jesus through A Course in Miracles. We are grateful for our willingness to surrender any and all blocks to love, and to be open and receptive to receive the blessings and the love that we are. We are grateful for this community and for the mighty companions, the earthly and heavenly helpers that walk with us and talk with us each and every day. We ask that they join us now, surrounding and supporting us, supporting the technology we get to use to come together, blessing everyone here, any who may listen later, blessing this conversation, allowing it to be a healing balm for all who listen and for all beyond, just allowing those blessings to ripple out, and the love that we are to ripple out to all the world, because we are one. In grace and gratitude, we let it be. And so it is. Amen. So we are, well, in my book, it's in the Manual for Teachers. I don't think it's in the Manual for Teachers for everybody's book. But it's the clarification of terms. And it's section 2, the ego and the miracle. And I'm going to start us off with the last paragraph. Because wow, it summed it right up. The miracle forgives. The ego damns. Neither need be defined except by this. Yet could a definition be more sure or more in line with what salvation is? Problem and answer lie together here. And having met at last, the choice is clear. Who chooses hell when it is recognized? And who would not go on a little while when it is given him to understand the way is short and heaven is his goal? Yeah. Whoa. So I was having a conversation with a prayer partner yesterday, and both of us are having some, little bumpiness in our lives, or in the lives of loved ones that we're very close to. And I was just saying how different it is to be in this space where, even if it's not something that we prefer, even if it's something that we don't like or is painful or whatever it is, the choice is still ours to remain in peace. And this is the way that we decide, are we going to choose the ego or are we going to choose the miracle? And the miracle is when we choose heaven every time. So I can choose heaven in this moment now, and then in the next moment, I can choose heaven again. And in the next moment, I can choose heaven again. And the more often I choose that, I choose love, eventually they'll kind of squish together, right? And so that's all that I'm choosing. And I won't have those moments where I'm like, oh, I think I'll just sit in this mud puddle for a while, because I do that. I know we all do. So yeah, that's what I got from this whole section, but in particular, that last paragraph. So that's where I'm starting us off. I'm starting us off at the end. Go ahead, Carla.
Yeah, I can't. I'm on my phone, so I'm really challenged to mute me one time. But it's so amazing The truth has been shown was in chapter in paragraph 6. It says, an evil dream that seemed real while you were dreaming it. And that's what ego is. It seems real. It seemed real. I mean, here I'm having this experience. I had the experience and I was really physically challenged, and I was shown that I chose it. And that's this big thing, is to forgive myself for choosing it and to choose again, to realize that, because when I was at the CLC, I told them that I wasn't feeling well and they sent me home, and the whole thing culminated to the point where I didn't breathe. I was puking and vomiting, and David kind of saved my life by removing vomit from my throat so I could breathe, and to forgive myself. I mean, it seems like I get upset at the CLC for not hearing me, but it's really, I accept full responsibility, that to the best of my ability, and forgive myself. I can have compassion for what happened. Is I was confused. I was caught up in believing something that wasn't real, because only love is real. We often see the choices and believe that we are choosing because of what we believe. But if only love is real, how can what we've been choosing, what we believe in, be real? The only thing that's real about it is we are using our life essence, our God self, to make it real, but it's not really real. And who knows how long the body has been doing, as humanity has like been around for like 1,000,000 years. Uh, yeah, it's okay. And so I'm just more loving myself. I don't know. It seems like, there's someone here, but I'm breathing. It seems like so noxious sometimes, but that's okay. I accept myself, that whatever's happening, I created, and something good is going to happen from this. So I'm going to read a poem that I didn't have a title for it, but I called it Direction. We believe our choices. We believe our choices define us. The choices made do not define us or our reality unless we believe it. That definition of ourselves, the truth of ourselves, has already been created by God when we were created, and nothing done now can change that. So, what do the choices show us? What we are choosing to believe, and the love and acceptance we hold for ourselves or others, and lack of love and acceptance. We, the body self, are offered suggestions, opportunities of choices from the false self, ego, or the true self, spirit self. And we are allowed to make whatever choice we desire. That is how much we are loved and accepted. Any choice made, whatever the motivation, be it fear or love, is never judged by our spirit self, who is one with God. All choices made may be seen just seen and not judged. The one judging is ego, and even that is not bad or wrong. What determines the direction of our choice is what we do next. Do we laugh at the choice and choose again with love, compassion, patience, and tolerance, acceptance? Or with impatience, non-understanding, intolerance, judgment, about love, ego. So this now moment, now is all there is. Choose and determine the direction you desire to go. Thank you. You can mute me now.
Thank you, Carla. Remember, it's *6 to unmute on your phone, honey, if you need to unmute. Kathy.
Oh, hi, everybody. Thanks, Carla. You know, I had underlined that same wording that you read, Linda, but I also underlined the one above. Your questions have no answer, being made to still God's voice, which asks of everyone one question only. Are you ready yet to help me save the world? And I like that one. And well, some of you know that what I'm doing, I'm keeping a little journal of God experiences, God winks, God bumps, whatever, as a reminder to myself to notice, to just see and notice. And so, for some reason, a spirit is giving me lots of death experiences. So I have not only lost Ron, but his brother a month late, 2 months later, and last night my brother passed. And I'm going, okay. So I just was floored because my brother's family did not tell us that he was in hospice. For 3 weeks, we got no word till last night, and my sister called to say, and I thought, wow. So I decided to have this conversation as best I could with my sister. And you know, the people in our lives that aren't on this same path that some of us are on can be so mean and hurtful. So I let her just rail at me, you know, what a bad person she thought I was. And I said unkind things. It's like, well, what did I, you know, and I let it pass. I listened. I didn't defend. I didn't even respond. I just listened and let her say some things. And I wrote down in my little journal, I bristled for an instant, but I did not respond. I allowed it to just pass with no comment. I let it pass, and yet I see how unkind thoughts and judgments that only hurt. I let healing begin in that moment. And I thought, golly sakes, if I could hang on to that, I know death comes to teach us. But it's like sometimes I was sitting there last night and I'm going, I'm just numb. I'm just like fascinated, numb that, wow, am I just ready or something for all this? And quite frankly, I don't want to be. Um, so anyway, I like that part. I like that clarity that if I ask questions, you know, if I just get still, then the answers come. So that was all I wanted to share, that I had a moment of clarity, and I thought that was important to realize. So thanks for letting me share, because I know if I don't talk about this stuff, you can't heal. You have to let it out for healing to move in. So out it comes, everybody. Thanks,
Yeah.
Linda. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Catherine. And thank you for demonstrating what love looks like when you're in that space that you're in with so much grief around you. I mean, you totally could have used the fact that you just lost your husband and then his brother and now your brother as an excuse to let go of your peace and just lambaste her when she was, but you didn't, and I just feel like people that aren't on the path that we're on would look at us as if we're crazy. Like, why aren't you standing up for yourself? Why aren't you retaliating against this seeming attack? And so I'm grateful that we have this space to speak it out loud, even when a lot of the rest of the world might think that it's a little insane what we're doing.
Yeah, I did feel like I stood for myself. I stood in my peace. I allowed that to be. And I had a moment. I did have a moment where and then I thought, well, this won't do any good. And it doesn't do me any good. So I let it pass.
Yeah. I'm so grateful for your grace. Beautiful. Thank you. Hamira.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Carla, for that beautiful poem. And Catherine, your courage just amazes me. It just, the women in this group and the men, I mean, just you guys just inspire me so much. And I want to kind of see myself in the same light. And it's so interesting that it's talking about the ego and the miracle, because it's so easy for me to go back and identify with the separate self. The first paragraph says, illusions will not last. Their death is sure, and this alone is certain in their world. It is the ego's world because of this. What is the ego but a dream of what you really are? A thought you are apart from your creator, and a wish to be what he created not. It is a thing of madness, not reality at all. A name for the namelessness is all it is, a symbol of impossibility, a choice for options that do not exist. We name it, but to help us understand that it is nothing but an ancient thought that what is made has immortality. But what could come of this except the dream, which, like all dreams, can only end in death? And it is just so still mind-boggling for me that how it can seem so real. It can seem so real for me. And, I wake up in the morning and I just see, before my even feet hit the ground, my mind is going. And I watch it now. I watch like the thoughts that are coming in about this person and, my brother and this and that. And it's like, oh my God. And, last night, I've been having a lot of pain after this shoulder surgery. So my orthopedic surgeon had prescribed a muscle relaxant. And, I drank a lot before in my youth, but I never did drugs. But when I took this, man, I could see why somebody would be on drugs. Like, it just relaxed that it wasn't even the pain in the body. It was the mind that just stopped talking. And I was able to just kind of fall asleep and relax. And, it made me in that moment have a lot of compassion for my brother, that like when he's in such deep pain and this is what he turns to. But I have to tell you, the inner child in me is just so feeling lost. Like, he, as I shared with you guys, he had stepped out of the sober living, or they had kicked him out. And then he reached back to a sponsor and they got him back into another sober living. And he really liked it. And he was like 5 days at his sponsor's place where he sobered up. So when he sobers up, he's like the gentlest, kindest soul. And like, of course, he reaches out, he's kind. And, just a few days ago, like he's been there maybe 2 weeks, just a few days ago, I started feeling his coldness again. And I was like, I'm sure he's done something. And they're telling me, no, they test them. He hasn't used anything. But so my mind goes, am I crazy? Like, it's like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Like 1 minute he loves you, and then it's like you're the worst thing. This is why my life is this way, and like me and my mom and everybody else, And I'm a therapist, and yet I can't understand this. Like I can't wrap my head around this, and I'm constantly puzzled by how like this can seem so real, and how like even from the human perspective and from the ego perspective, like how I can just fall into the trap instead of saying, you know what, he's in his disease of alcoholism or addiction and this is what happens. Or, and even if I'm wrong, even if I'm wrong that he's not using, which my heart, I feel like I know, but even though like I've been the first one who's always called them on it, and people like have caught up, but they're saying he hasn't used anything. And if it is mental illness, I should have compassion and understanding. But the inner child in me, like just like it's like, what the fuck, I'm tired of this, like somebody take care of me and be kind to me, like I've been there and been there and been there and been there. So when I hear Catherine like talking the way she does, like about her sister-in-law, like talking to her, you know, when she had just lost her husband, and she responds with love, I'm like, and I'm not, I know this isn't helpful, but I'm like, what's wrong with me? Why am I not getting this message of love and forgiveness? Because the Course keeps saying, you know, the way to wake up is accept the atonement for yourself. And through forgiveness, you will wake up to that truth. But it's been a ride for me, you guys. I don't know. I get it for a minute and then I lose it, and I get it and I lose it. And I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I really don't. So anyway, I just wanted to share that because whenever I share with you guys, I feel a little bit more at ease. And if, you know, if you want to comment, I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Hamira. That you are not doing a damn thing wrong. You are having a human experience, and in the human experience, sometimes our inner child, you know, are the pieces of us that are still wounded from the past, that haven't been healed, that haven't felt safe, will react. And that is completely normal. So what I would say is just continue to love yourself beyond what you feel is like. Do it to a point where you think I'm just being completely selfish. Just do it to that point, because that child.
How do you love yourself, Linda? How do you love yourself?
It depends. Like, how old is this child that you feel like is
She's very young. Like this, you know, I think this theme, at least what my mind has made it, like of being there for others and having people in your life, and then they just turn on you or they leave, has been sort of a theme. And I know, like, if I look at it from above the battleground, it's like my lesson in this lifetime to learn how to love unconditionally. But man, like I'm not there, you know. It's like somebody like take care of me and love me for a minute. Like I'm just tired, you know.
Well, that's your inner child is saying, take care of me, love me. Here's what I have done, and here's what I have told many of my clients is, if you have a sense of what age you are that is reacting, find a music playlist, the hits from that year, and start playing it, start singing along, start moving to the music, and then journal about whatever comes up. Because a lot of times I feel like, at least in the case of some of the inner child work that I've been doing, that child is not the victim that the adult me has labeled her as. What she is doing is she is trying to shake the crap out of me so that I can see how I have what I need, how I am exactly enough to do and deal with whatever is happening right now. That I deserve to have all of the sweetest things in life. That I am more strength, I have more strength and more wisdom than I am giving myself credit for. So I just would encourage you, find a playlist from the.
And Linda, what if you have, like, I have a very fragmented memory of childhood because of like the traumas. And so, you know, and honestly, there was like very, like, it was bleak. So I don't remember like sitting and listening to music or, you know what I mean? Like, so I don't have that to grab on. Or when people say like, oh, remember when you were a kid and things were happy and go lucky and it wasn't like that. It was not like that for me. You know, we immigrated immigrated to America when I was 8. My father came here a year before that. And it's just been like, it just was bleak. It was dark and bleak.
Yeah. So I would, if this child is from before you immigrated to America, listen to music from your old country.
Mm.
And you don't have to remember any of the memories. What I'm
Mm.
saying is the music, the singing of the music, the movement of the music will bring up whatever spirit deems is going to be helpful.
So
And
can I just choose any songs if I don't remember any?
absolutely.
Like, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
what I did was I said, okay, this child was from 1972. And so I just looked up on Spotify a playlist of the top 100 hits of 1972, and I started playing them. A lot of the songs I didn't recognize or didn't remember, but I would move to them. I would just listen to them while I was like, doing laundry or whatever. I would sing along to the ones that I remembered. And what I was finding was just little happinesses would come up, not full memories, like I couldn't place it, but I would start to feel happy for what it seemed like no reason, or I would start to feel sad for what seemed like no reason.
Mm.
It's just a way for us to get in touch with the truth, is what I have found.
Okay. I'll try that. Thank you so much for that suggestion.
You're welcome. And then, I'm a spiritual counselor, my friend, so reach out.
Okay. Thank you, Linda. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Carla.
Yeah, I don't know if I got a hand. My son lower my hand, but
Yep, we can hear you. I can look
I
for you.
feel that love was acceptance. Accepting whatever you choose, whatever happens, that's love. God loves us no matter what we choose, whatever is chosen. And I was gonna read one line and see if I can get it from the in a world, in the second paragraph, I think it's the third line. In a world of form where ego cannot be denied. What's the ego? The body, I think. For it alone seems real. Yeah, it's all alone seems real, but that's not true. Only love is real. And that's what we're here to learn. To see what we feel is real, feels so freaking real. What we feel feels so freaking real. Yet to trust, to hold, to whatever it is for you, that only love is real. I'll keep it short. So I go again, so you can mute me now. Thank you.
Thank you, Carla. Thank you for the reminder. Go ahead, Derwin.
Thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, beautiful light workers. I just want to react to Homera's conversation and the suggestions of Linda. It reminded me of the pillars of traditional healing and ancestral healing, which was there way before medicine, which was there way before biomedical medicines. And then a few pillars of traditional healing or connection to clan and nature, the rhythm of songs, of drums, Linda, and of dance, a set of beliefs, values, and stories that have meaning, that we have given meaning. And also in some cases, plant-derived stuff and other substances that can help. But when I was reminded of those so fundamental pillars that have been with us for so long, and hearing Linda say, listen to songs from where you came from, I thought, wow, I am going to do that for myself a bit more as well. And I was also reminded by an inner child meditation that I did 2 years ago in exactly this period. Yeah, where I was really able to go and meet that child and see it and see him, see myself. And I remember that I saw myself on the island of Curacao as a child of 11, 12, 13, 14, something like that. But I saw myself happy dancing in some back, yeah, how do you say that? Bush, not jungle, because it's a small island, but nature. And I remember weeping, crying, because I realized that nature was already telling me that in nature I can feel liberation and I can feel healing. I didn't even know I needed that, but that came back in my inner child healing as a reminder as well. So yeah, thank you for bringing that up, Homera. And
Thank you, Derwin. Derwin, was the inner child meditation by Dr. Hugh Len, or was it something else that you did?
it was just a random one that I had on YouTube.
Ah, okay. Thank you.
You
And thank you for
you can try any one that
Hmm,
you feel comfortable with, I
thank
think.
you.
Thank you for letting me share.
Yeah, thank you, Derwin. And thank you for the reminder of the healing powers of nature. So powerful. As I see Leslie sitting outdoors with her beautiful hat. Who else would like to share?
Well, I'd like to share.
Go ahead, Robin.
Hello, everybody. Everybody that speaks just speaks with such strength. And that is just coming back to Catherine. I think the most significant thing, well, first of all, losing your partner would be so devastating to me and for most of us. And yet you walked with your sorrow or your grief, but then you always brought spirit back home. And it just was like such an opening to see you model, feeling whatever feeling rose up, but then always coming back. I mean, you just, I see you in other places stepping up and bringing that highest and best when you could just curl up and, and maybe you do, and I hope you do have those moments of curling up. So just thank you, and not to put pressure on you. I think you're taking it one day at a time so beautifully, sharing your sorrow at moments with others, and then coming and sharing your strength and helping us along. So thank you. We've all got so many wonderful tools and toys, or so my latest thing is, and I'm really imperfect, the lesson plans have finally, after all these years, I am compelled. I love them. I can't wait. It's still trying to do everything that it says you should do. But what I am practicing more is on every hour, even if I just say, oh God, thank you, thank you, thank you. I feel my energy is being raised, because usually I would do it and 8 hours later I'd say, oh, I would respond to the day and it's all over. And so I'm at that place, and not every single time, but there's an intention that I want to stop and pause if I can. And it better be a darn good reason. And I can feel something shaking just by doing that. And that the other thing is, if we can find something that we enjoy in the present moment, do that. Something that just really lifts you. in the present moment, in that quiet present moment, and just put that there. And that's my example, and Homera and everyone. So thank you. And Linda, thank you for all your good wisdom and sharing with us so beautifully and so easily.
Love you, Robin.
Yeah,
Oh,
thank you.
Thank you, Homera. Same here. We love, all of us love each other. Isn't it wonderful that seeing that Christ within us, or that spirit within us, or the goodness that's in us, that we can love that and then be one together as
Yeah.
best we can. Thank you.
This has been a real good reminder for me, even though I've heard it many times about forgiving oneself. I think I needed to hear it again, obviously, because, since I've had this stroke, one of my biggest things, it really did some damage in my brain, and I'm learning about the brain and how it really hit the center for my executive functioning or organization. Basically, it was just gone. So I'm having to rebuild that, and in the process of that, I'm developing a different system, and I've almost become obsessive with planning and organizing and having to say, scheduled and centered and keep lists of things. And I got down on myself the other day for doing that, and now I realize, I have to forgive myself for that, because I'm just doing my best with what I have, and it's not easy, but right now it's kind of requiring me to be obsessive, to go to an extreme, to be able to get back to some kind of balance point.
Yeah. Oh, Deborah, I feel for you, my friend. I can see, it makes complete sense that you would be so obsessed right now with trying to control and schedule everything, because you feel like your life is so out of control and was taken out of control by something that you had no control of. So
No,
I'm just,
Linda, that word control is very important, because
yes,
I don't know if anybody else has experienced that, but when you don't have control over your body anymore, it gives you a sense that you need more control over other things. It's the
yes.
weirdest. It all relates, but maybe somebody else sort it all out, but I'm sure trying to.
Yeah, you're doing great, my friend. You're doing the best that you can, and just keep congratulating yourself for what you are doing, and love yourself through the times when you start to get down on yourself. Just realize that you're just doing the best that you can in any given moment. We love you so
Thank you. And
much.
I'd like to say to this group that even though I don't attend every week, I do when I can, but it means so much to me, because I feel like I have a family, a support system that I don't actually have in other realms. I really don't have a family left, so this is kind of a substitute for me.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to be your family, my friend, to the best of my ability. Love you. Kathleen.
That was really moving, Deborah. Thanks. And thanks to everybody that shared. My vocal cords are freezing. Okay, they came back. I've been working with my friend Bob, who had a stroke, and he getting so he can move around pretty well without his walker, and got a speech therapist and all this good stuff. But what I noticed is how is essential, because essential sweetness is just like so there. So his gratitude for his daughter staying there, and for anyone that comes over to help. And for me, it's sad because he drives the RV and he's probably not going to be able to drive anymore. But I just noticed that about him and about the people that I used to work with that had problems with their brains. That was my favorite thing to do as a physical therapist, was to work with people who had things go wrong with their neurological system, and studying the brain. And it was just the most wonderful, fascinating thing. I loved it. Anyway, I went to see my orthopedist because, the leg length thing, and it came out of his getting a new hip. My leg was longer, not by much, but since my leg was already, left leg was already shorter, and now I have a 1-inch leg length discrepancy. And I was furious. And then I worked on it for 2 weeks, the Holy Spirit. And when I went back this time, he came in the room. He's like, "How you doing?" I'm like, "I'm fine. I'm good." And I brought all my shoes, all the different weird things I'm doing with my shoes, outside, the inside, cutting off the bottom of one flip flop, gluing a lift to the top of the other flip flop, 2 different flip flops, lifts, all kinds of creative things I'm doing with lifts. And I told him that it just came to me, Holy Spirit, of course, that now I have to wear a lift. So now my body is completely in good alignment all the time. So I told him that, and I do really want to call the office back because he said he has another guy with a 1-inch leg length who won't wear a lift. And I just thought I should volunteer. Like, if anyone wants to talk about what to do with your shoes, I am now an expert. But I thought that was a miracle that I could go in there and just chat with him, and all my anger's gone. And I know, like everyone else is saying, that I created it for some good reason. And that, the reasons are becoming obvious to me. I was looking at this cat I adopted, and also looking at a caterpillar crawling up the side of the box, and looking outside at the woodpeckers. I mean, it's just so amazing sitting here in this wonderful place I've created. But anyway, I wanted to read part of paragraph 6. What is a miracle? So it's a dream as well. But look at all the aspects of this dream you'll never question anymore. Look at the kindly world you see stretched forth before you as you walk in gentleness. Look at the helpers all along the way you travel, happy in the certainty of heaven and the surety of peace. I'm just not going to read the other part. So I think I just want to read that over and over. And then down in paragraph 7, ask this instead of what the ego is, and you will see a sudden brightness cover up the world the ego made. No miracle is now withheld from anyone. So I just, it's important to me to be able to figure out what the Course is saying, because I really love the world, the way it looks most of the time to me. When I don't listen to the news and I don't let myself lose my peace over things, the world looks pretty good. I like it. So I think that means when I look all the way back to my childhood, that I've always seen the light, and that I've always wanted to be helpful, and I've always wanted to be gentle. So that's the only way this makes sense to me, because when I do the meditations, which I'm starting to do, like Robin, you said, I'm starting to do them more and more and more, what we're supposed to do every day. Follow the rules, do them, think about them on the hour, meditate twice a day. I'm still not seeing a big ball of light anywhere, but I do feel like the world is changing for myself and therefore for everyone, and that there is this huge light experience happening. And of course, we know that it's already done. We're already back with God. We're already living the past. But just to make sense of all that, it really helps. I've been writing them down on these little cards, and reading them every day. And also, Robert Perry says, if you're in the middle of an awful thing during the day, you whip this out and you just read it over and over. I am as God created me, or truth will correct all errors in my mind. Let me remember I'm one with God. There is no love but God. So just read them and read them and read them until the whole thing shifts out of your mind. So that's what I've been doing, and I'm really feeling pretty good these days. So we're listening.
Wow, Kathleen, what a shift in your mind. And what a beautiful gift to be able to see it as a miracle that you could offer to somebody else. You're amazing, my friend. You really are.
I haven't called yet, but I'm going to do it.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Linda Kay.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I thought I was muted, but I wasn't muted a moment ago.
Yeah,
I wanted to respond to Homera and Deborah and say, Homera, there wasn't a single word that you said that I did not relate to 100%. So when you talked about your brother and his sweetness, and then not, and I am the Jekyll and Hyde. I am the person who was cleaning yesterday, and then the next thing I'm screaming at the top of my lungs because I don't feel I'm being listened to. I don't feel I'm being heard. I don't feel I'm being understood. And I'm desperate. And in my desperation, I'm about to blow up my marriage, my longtime marriage. Not because that's not because he did something wrong. It's I am so losing myself. And when Homera talked about, well, like, how do you love yourself? I thought I knew. And then I'm thinking, no, I don't think I know at all how to do that. I'm so busy caretaking. And I'm caretaking for others when I'm sick, when I'm having an episode of mental illness. I'm caretaking for others. Who's caring for me? Who's loving me? I want to be loved like you described, Homera. I felt every single word you said. I thought, how did she get inside of my head? She knows everything I'm thinking, except that I'm the reverse. I am the one who is causing the disruption to others. And at the same time, I need care, but I'm the one who's still doing it for others. I have an Airbnb, a little Airbnb that I've been getting back up and running. And I was having hallucinations, delusions, and there was some other word I forget that people have grouped with that. I can't think of the word. And the following day after having that, I had called my doctor, and she said, "Oh, you need this emergency medication." And I said, "I have guests arriving tomorrow, paid guests coming to my home." She said, "Well, you can't do it. Your husband will have to do it, or your mom will have to do it." I'm like, "Well, my mom's not around, so that wipes that out. My husband's not going to do it. That wipes that out. So it leaves it to me." So I took no medication, nothing. I dropped everything I was taking because the medication I was taking was doing somewhat what Deborah experiences. I had such cognitive problems accessing words, problems thinking, problem solving, basic stuff, because a medication had messed with my brain so much. But there I was, good trooper, had my guests. They don't know me, so they didn't know anything was wrong. I just behaved properly and got a 5-star rating, and they've invited me for dinner. So, but and I just had a guest for a week, and I've only restarted this, but in the time I had done it before for several years, they were probably maybe one of the top 3 high maintenance guests. So imagine being in the episode, taking care of the guests, never getting a break from the episode because the next people came, and to have, when you're emotionally depleted, you haven't had a break. "Oh, can we borrow your weights? Can we borrow a mat? Can you wash my blouse because I got a spot on it? Can you this? Can you that?" And I'm like 4 seasons level of service at Target prices. So I've done the math, and I now realize my Airbnb that I had so loved before, that I restarted after the throes of COVID. I'm not going to be able to do that. So yeah, it's just one of those times where it all feels very piled up on, like, I need work immediately, but I don't know what work it's going to be. I worked for myself for 25 years, and I can manage not being well at times better when I'm the boss, um, because I don't have to answer to someone else's schedule. And so between marriage hanging on by a thread, it's really precarious right now. And I need a break. I've not gone anywhere 3 years. The only time I get out of the house is to go get groceries. I think I've done maybe, less than 5 other activities in 3 years. I think if I thought I was losing my mind before, I'm losing it. I'm really losing it now, because I've lost me. And so I just wanted to say, Homera, when you share, Deborah share, these other shares, I didn't have a stroke, Deborah, but I know what it is to have my mind and not have my mind. I know what it is to be able to be very competent and a high performer, and then to not be able to do much of anything. And you don't know yourself that way. It's very painful. It's a difficult thing to accept. And I was really out of control yesterday. I was F-bombs flying. And that's usually when I'm really agitated, that happens. And then I was in prayer class. Thank God for that class, because that really helped put things in perspective, and what people have been sharing today, hearing Derwin say good morning, hearing Robin's calm, the passing of yet another loved one. It helps put things in perspective. And I'm so glad you mentioned about being a spiritual counselor, Linda. It's not like I didn't know, but I think I'm going to have to reach out, or you could reach out to me. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So thank you. I didn't mean that to be a rant of complaints. I'm in a real, sometimes I'm just shaking, like the nervous system. I know you did work, Linda, on that, where I'm just sitting there shaking,
Yeah.
because I'm having such an upset, or such an inability to cope with an upset. I'm just like Humera. She said, well, I can't remember some things from my childhood. Yeah, you don't necessarily want to hang out in trauma. If you had a lot of abuse and trauma, and, like, there's things I remember, all the happy things with animals. Yeah, I remember all those things. A lot of other stuff, being abused. No, kind of want to just let that stuff fall away.
Yeah. And you don't
But I
have
do
to
listen to
remember
music.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I love your music suggestion, and I do listen to music, and it is helpful, actually. I've been listening. You'll laugh, but I've been listening to lots of Burt Bacharach, because he just passed away. And
Oh,
there's a Burt Bacharach channel on Pandora, and it plays all of this older music that's really quite pleasant to listen to. So anyway, thank you guys. Thank you. Any prayers of just hope and guidance would be greatly appreciated. And Carla, your poems, and yeah, I just want to shout out love for Carla, because she's also been very supportive to me. Thank you.
oh, thank you, Linda. I'm so grateful that you can be so honest, and I absolutely will reach out with my contact information and others' contact information, so you can have your choice of, who you would like to work with, and whoever speaks to you. One of the other things that popped into my mind when you were sharing that was, I remember feeling that sense of complete dysregulation of my central nervous system. And was while I was taking care of my husband before his kidney transplant, and just lost my father less than a year ago, before this incident, and also was taking care of my mom. And I remember being at the Great Rhythm Revival, where we get to drum for a few days. And we would have these meditative times, or times when we were just lying on yoga mats on the floor of the big tent that we were all in, listening to gong baths or whatever we were doing. And the intuition told me, just take my blanket and lay it on the grass, and lay on the grass, because the ground is so grounding and so therapeutic to the central nervous system. So even if you can't lay on the grass, if you can just walk in your bare feet on the grass, or, you know, stick your feet in a mud puddle, or, it's so helpful. It's so helpful. The earth is so healing in so many ways. And I have these visions of Robin sitting under her favorite tree, and like the earth is so healing. So anyways, it just came to me while you were speaking, Linda, and just so much love and prayers coming your way, my friend.
I
So
just want to say it's interesting when someone is, because you just said Robin, so I'll use Robin. I think she's a great example. Hearing Robin in the state of peace and peacefully making a comment or an assurance to someone else in the room, it lets me know that that is a possibility.
yeah.
And Humera, you did me such an enormous favor by saying how you felt affected, because I needed to hear that today. That was that was my miracle. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Linda. I just wanted to read too that Fabiola posted in our chat that she loves you, and Carla said, sometimes when we feel the most lost, we are the most mistaken. So just passing those along as well. So I'm going to close this out. Next week, we will be covering forgiveness and the face of Christ. So thank you everyone for sharing and for being here today. And just, I love you guys so much. I just love you so much. So I'm going to read our Pathways of Light insights for the lesson today, which is 129. Beyond this world, there is a world I want. How perfect could that be? In paragraph 7 of this lesson, I love the symbol of light given in the exercise. In this physical world, the experience of light is the closest approximation to the experience of spirit. Light always joins with light. It never defends against other light. It always merges with it, joins with it, just as spirit always joins with spirit, being one. I visualized the many points of light. I saw them expand and join into one ocean of light in front of me that extended as far as I could see. I wanted to join with that light, so I dove into it, like diving into an ocean. I swam around in it, felt its presence surrounding me, yet I was still not experiencing being one with the light. I tried to sink into the light, but still did not feel part of it. Then I began to see myself as light. The more I saw myself as light, the more I blended in with the ocean of light, the more I felt part of it, one with it. As I let go of body identification and saw myself as only light, I recognized I was one with the ocean of light. Complete peace enveloped me. I felt great joy from all the light that I now recognized as part of me. No division, no differences, one all-encompassing, unlimiting, unchanging, eternal light, complete freedom. This experience represents to me a process of waking up from this illusory world of separation. It is why I must learn that there is no value in this world, and this world holds nothing that I want. As long as I hold value of anything in this world, I may be aware that there is light, but I will only be able to be on the surface, unable to join with it. As I let go of valuing the forms of this world, I am able to identify more and more with light as what I am. I am grateful for these lessons that gently lead me away from my identification with a false image of myself and guide me toward the light that I share with God. My heart is filled with gratitude. In this lesson, Jesus is presenting me with a clear choice. First, he describes the world of separation. He points out its instability and all the unhappiness that resides there. It becomes very clear that this is not the world I want. Then he describes God's world, a world of oneness, where all is given to all. All has all because it is all. Jesus reminds me that I need to make a choice. I have to let go of the world of separation in order to experience the real world of love's oneness. I cannot experience both at the same time. Jesus encourages me to make the conscious choice for oneness and focus on that reality because I always get what I focus on. He asked me to take time out from focusing on the world of separation and instead open to God's world of oneness. He knows that as I practice making the conscious choice for oneness, that it gradually becomes the only choice I want to make. Jesus takes us one step at a time. He knows that we have a long history of making the choice for separation, for seeing separation. So he shows us just what separation really brings us. He shows us that it has never made us happy, and we really do not want it. He encourages us to lay it down a while, and in the open space made free by its release, he brings us a taste of the real world, the world where our one self abides in eternity. At first, we take tiny steps toward the opening of love's oneness. As we continue the practice of opening to the truth of our oneness, more and more our experience of it grows and expands. We gradually learn to appreciate God's world. We gradually let go of rejecting it. This lesson is about making the choice for God and letting go of the choice for the ego. The more I practice opening to God's world, the more I make the choice for God, the more I will let the truth in God's world become more real to me, and the world of separation appear less real. The threads of separation will fall away, and the real world behind the world of separation will feel more clear, more active, more real. This is my life process. I am learning to change my mind about what I want, about what I choose to experience. My choice is always between separation and oneness, the unreal and the real. I choose now to bring the awareness that I am choosing between the real and the unreal with me all through the day. Do I want to make separation or oneness real to me? As I make lunch today, as I answer the phone, as I work on the computer, my practice today is which world do I want to experience? I choose to practice opening to the real world of oneness today. Let's do it. Open to oneness. Love
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great week.
Thank you.
Thank you. Much love to all.